Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Heather. Today we're going to talk about how borderline personality partner abuse, when you have been subjected to somebody who has borderline personality disorder, how the aftermath symptoms are kind of atypical of regular trauma. In regular trauma, we have negative thoughts about the trauma. In these type of relationships with the cluster B personality, we're often left hanging on to the good memories. And the reason for that is for cognitive dissonance, because we talked about in previous videos how there is a good and a bad. There is good and bad to your partner, and they see you as good and bad. So this causes a dissonance in our thinking. So cognitive is thinking, dissonance is a difference. So when we have a difference in thinking, it causes tension and an inconsistency between our behavior and our beliefs. And what happens is we might deny one of the ideas, either the behavior or the belief or the actions, in order to hang on to what we want to believe. And in these type of relationships, it's usually that we want to believe that our partner really does care about us, that they're attached, that they love us. We want to believe that they're rational, reasonable, that we can come to conflict resolution, and we want to believe good things about ourselves. Sandra Brown, who wrote Women Who Love Psychopaths, did a study and found out that about approximately 600 survivors of these kind of relationships have cognitive dissonance as the number one symptom. They reported that this symptom was the most traumatic, disruptive, and intrusive. She also believes that if a person does not have cognitive dissonance after this relationship, this type of relationship, that they probably were not in a relationship with a cluster B personality. So again, it's very atypical in the sense that the person is hanging on to the good memories. So let's talk about these conflicts. These conflicts arise about our partner or our abuser. When we met him, he was love bombing us. We thought he was wonderful. He showed us, his best foot forward. And that is the person we fell in love with and the person that you want to stay in love with. But then after a while, he starts to devalue you. So after the love bombing phase, he starts to devalue you, and he starts to show you that he's just not that great of a partner. And all of a sudden, he doesn't think you're that great of a partner either. And he starts to say, negative things about you. He might start going missing. He might stop answering text. He might ghost you altogether. You may have already been discarded. So then this causes an inconsistency in the belief about the relationship. We thought we had a good relationship. Everything was wonderful. And then for no rational reason, it's just everything's changed and we can't make sense of it. And because we're dealing with a cluster B or a borderline personality disorder, they're not able to help us reason with the change. They're not rational. They can't tell us what went wrong. They can't tell us, what we did wrong, which is nothing. This is all about them. But they just can't come to a normal conclusion the way normal personalities do. Normal personalities are flexible. They want to coexist. They want to resolve conflict. They want to compromise. But in these kind of relationships, it's all about, for them, I have to get you before you get me. I have to hurt you before you hurt me. I have to abandon you before you abandon me. So this is where we see those inconsistencies in their behavior, because for us, we're not even trying to abandon them. We're not trying to leave them. We may be still totally in love with this person, but they have already in their mind looked for this conspiracy that you are and will abandon them. And then the third part of cognitive dissonance is about the individual, the person who was in the relationship with the borderline. This person entered the relationship thinking, I'm strong, I have boundaries, I would never put up with someone treating me bad. So those were your beliefs, right? But now you find yourself in this irrational, illogical relationship and you're trying to figure out what in the world is going on, and you find yourself clinging to this person, trying to make sense of it, and now your actions of staying in the relationship, trying to make this relationship work, trying to understand the dynamic, is going against your belief. So this cognitive dissonance happens on many levels in these relationships. It happens with our belief about the abuser. He loves me, he doesn't. He supports me, he doesn't. He's there for me, he isn't. I can count on him, I can't. Your belief about the relationship, we're getting married, he's ghosting me, we love each other, he's giving me the silent treatment, we have plans next month, but now he's missing. And then of this belief about ourselves, I'm not this type of person, I don't put up with this. I have values, I have boundaries, I have self-worth. But because these people are so disordered and irrational, we find ourselves very disrupted. And remember, again, the borderline hands over their internal dysregulation to you. So the more dysregulated you are, the more comfortable they feel, because now all this dysregulation they feel inside of them has been handed over to you. And that is part of the cognitive dissonance. Your dysregulation is part of you having this cognitive dissonance. So how do we overcome cognitive dissonance? We have to stop holding on to the false beliefs, the beliefs that we want to hang on to, that he loves us, or she, it could be a she, that they were a good partner, that the relationship was good. Stop hanging on to those memories. Make a list of all the awful things they did to you. Make a list of all the awful qualities they had. And then again, make a list of who you were before you met this person. You've got to stop hanging on the denial. Remember, I talked about in the beginning, it says the cognitive dissonance, we deny one belief and minimize it. We deny that he's an abuser. We deny that this is a toxic relationship. We deny that we were once this strong person that wouldn't put up with this, and we have values and boundaries. We deny all those things to stay in this relationship. And the reason we do that is because we've become so dysregulated. It's time to give the dysregulation back to the borderline and get back to who you were before you met this person.